Watch I know you go. Bad girl, bad girl, bad girl. You said bad girl. On the real good, I wanna leave what you know. Money ain't a thing, that's why we do my thing. Yeah, but you think I'm doing all those, I suppose. You say you a freak, but always see you bad shit. It's harder, so it gets better. I can take you to a different level.
You're listening to the Doc MistaTre. Yeah, I'm a real doctor, like Dr. Phil's a real doctor. You're on High Tide Stick with the Doc, live. Yeah, that's right. You know what time it is. That's right. It's High Tide Stick. You're on with the Doc. It's F Off Friday. What? That's right. You know our motto here. If you're going to be stuck at high tide, man, it might as well be on a stick, bruh. Yeah. TGIF, that's right. Thank God it's Friday. Bright and early on the East Coast. 7 a.m. right now on the East Coast. 5 a.m. in the mountains. Good Lordy. People still are probably awake on the West Coast. They haven't went to bed yet. Anybody listening on the West Coast, shout out to going to bed after my show. Stick around. Hang with us till 5 on the West Coast, and then you can go to bed. Don't be a Nancy. You're already up this late. A lot of stuff going on in the news. I'm definitely waiting for Mr. Watkins to call, because we're definitely going to need us a little Chris for the show. He says he's got something going on that's like huge, you know, like a big ordeal. He said he's been posting it to High Tide Stick. He's, of course, one of the editors on High Tide Stick for us. And he says he's been posting it. I honestly haven't had a chance to go on the High Tide Stick page and look. I'm not even going to front. Wouldn't front my man off like that. So I'm not really sure. Shout out to all the waitresses out there. Shout out to good tippers, too, by the way. One of my friends last night had a four-top of people. $100, 93-cent ticket, $3 tip. Go fuck yourself. That's what she says. Go fuck yourself. I don't know who you are. She does. We're not going to put her on blast. We're not going to say who she is. We're just going to tell you, go fuck yourself. You know who you are. If you're the douchebag at that restaurant with that $100 and 93-cent ticket and you left a $3 tip, you're a dick. So there's a lot of big news. This must be what he's talking about. I didn't see this one. So, I'm going to like that as myself rather than High Tide Stick. And he says, if you're from Michigan, hold on. See, I know he posted this because he and I are the only two editors on the page. So, or I mean on Facebook. And, you know, every DJ or host, an intricate part of the show gets, access to certain things that, that can help out with the show and help us out with the show. So Chris is about to start his own show, so he has access to this. You know, Presence, when if she decides to get a show with us, um, she'll you know, she'll do her thing. I mean, there's a lot to what we do here. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be real. Like it's a lot. So with that said, um, we're gonna get into what he's talking about, but I really wish he was on the show right now. It would make things a little bit more interesting because he was there. That's why he wasn't on the show for yesterday for the interview with Two Piece. By the way, shout out to Two Piece and the whole Dab gang. Thanks for being on the show yesterday with us, talking hip hop, music, weed. You know what we is excuse me, it's what we do here. But I just want to say shout out to Two Piece again. That's the dude. He's cool as hell. Um, check out his new song, by the way, from Dab Gang America or Dab America. But check out his new song with Fetty Wap called On My Grind featuring Fetty Wap by Two Piece. That's the number two, Pice or Piece. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I want y'all to check that out. I think that's beyond the word legit. So um, that song is dope. Let me just tell you, On My Grind is dope. Like I've been like I said yesterday on the show, I just catch myself like riding around in the whip, or even when I'm like working out, riding on the bike now, or walking, or jogging, or anything like that. That I have headphones on. I'm banging this song on my grind. Like it's hot. Like it's legit. Like on some next level. Yes, sir. Okay, it's legit. Like I'm digging it. I'm feeling it. Like on some real stuff. I'm feeling it. I figured out why I have such a hard time with this guy's. There he is. Now he showed up like it was nothing. We got to give our shout out to them. We have to. I think it's a requirement. Has to be a requirement. Over here, I'm tagging every DJ I know and everything. I'm not playing around. This track is worth it. It's a dope track. Oh, that's right. He starts with an S. That's what I always forget that. There he is. Just saying. Join is hot. Join is hot. If you don't think so, I'm telling you, we're gonna play it at the music break again today. I think that it's one that we want to play at the music break. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna play it again. It has to be played again. So it's one of those things you go, it must be played. It's hot. And I mean, it is hot. It is legitly hot. Like I love it. I'm like, man, that my joint, bro. That's my joint, bro. That's my ish, homie. Let's see here. We obviously we have to get into the marijuana issues of the day, but you know me, I like to play on Facebook. If you listen to the show consistently, you know I like to play on Facebook. But I do want to get into this story that talks about why marijuana helps PTSD. Um, it's an audio clip though, so um, I got to bring in the audio from the computer. It's not the greatest audio, but I mean I think that if for it to be effective, I think we should all listen to it together, obviously. But anyway. So let's go ahead and let's check this audio clip out. There's some video to it. I will put I'll put the screen up on YouTube for the people viewing, but um, let's listen to / watch this together, and then we'll go from there.
They are the best gardeners of my generation. I realize this. The best gardeners of my generation are not hybridizing roses, are not, working with orchids, but working with this incredibly valuable, incredibly interesting plant. You think about it, it's a weed. It's a weed. It's a weed that's worth, in the open market, like, $6,000, $7,000 a pound. Pretty good for a weed. But cannabis only fetches that price because of that one particular molecule it makes that gets people high. Its name is THC, and it was discovered back in 1964 in a lab in Jerusalem by chemist Raphael Mechoulam. Cannabis had not been well investigated, which was strange after all. It was being used illegally or legally by millions of people, and yet we didn't know that much about it. So to look at it again from a modern point of view. In the lab, Schumann and his colleagues broke cannabis down and zeroed in on the chemical components that might be causing its effects. We isolated about 10 compounds. Surprisingly, out of the 10 compounds we isolated, only one, which now is known as delta-9-tetrahydrocannabinol, in short THC, only one causes the well-known harm. We tested it in humans, in the mice, and we saw that the compound is effective as we expected it to be. The identification of THC answered one question that raised another. Just what did it do to the brain? All it always assumed that people knew how marijuana worked. It surprised me actually when I began looking in the research literature that it was really clear that no one really knew how it worked. In 1988, Arlene Howlett found the answer. She discovered that deep inside the brain, THC molecules activate a previously unknown network of specialized chemical receptors. So that was proof that there is a receptor protein in the brain that can bind to the THC like a key in a rock. It was really exciting because what that meant to us was we had a tool that could be used for studying, and other researchers could use it as well. And people could study where the receptor was in the brain. Howard and other scientists found the receptors in the hippocampus, which brings memories, the cerebellum, which controls movement, and the frontal cortex, where we think. Here are these receptors that this chemical produced by a plant out in the world just so happen to have the precise combination to unlock. What an extraordinary thing that is. Is that why that receptor network existed, so that people could get high? We don't have those receptors just so that people can get high smoking pot. Receptors are developed in neurons so that they can communicate with a chemical that the body makes. So that was the logic behind going in and trying to extract a compound in the brain that would act just like marijuana. And in 1992, proof came that the brain does make a ways in terms of at the receptor level and cellular level that THC has. It turns out that when an anandamide is released in the brain, like marijuana, it affects such basic things as appetite, pain, and memory. And it plays a critical role in a sometimes underappreciated mental function, forgetting. When I first heard that, it didn't seem adaptive to me to have a drug for forgetting. Memory, we understand, has great survival utility. You learn that that's a poisonous mushroom or that's a dangerous animal, and you stay away and you remember that. But why would forgetting be adaptive? And I asked Mitchell this question, and he said, well, tell me, do you really want to remember all the faces you saw on the subway this morning? Forgetting well is almost as important as remembering. Forgetting is about editing. It's about taking the ocean of sense information coming at you and forgetting everything but what's important. So that is not just about accumulating memories.
And so this is where I've kind of drawn the conclusion on this video. And by the way, wonderful knowledge. Wonderful knowledge in the video is in respect to forgetting. And I think that that's, as the video goes on, if you want a chance, we've posted the video to High Tide Stick. It's from High Times magazine. And the thing about the video that I think is probably the most critical to know is that the video it goes on and it talks about how forgetting is critical to a healthy brain function. Forgetting is critical to healthy human interaction. You have to forget the little stuff that drives you nuts. Otherwise, you're going to go crazy. And so forgetting it's something we need to be able to do. I mean, think about it. When you've been beyond upset with somebody or anything like that, the first thing you've done when you've been beyond upset with them is you start to remember all the things they've done that's pissed you off. The problem with that is that you're never supposed to like go back and bring it back up or whatever the case may be. And I think we're all guilty of doing this, by the way, by all means. I mean, I really do. I think we're all easily guilty of not forgetting and not forgiving. And like the video says, I mean, that's probably one of our biggest poisons that we have is that the brain can easily be poisoned by not being able to forget stuff. And then that's where you get, suicides by, soldiers, and you get all these other things that come with PTSD and are a huge problem. Again, thank you to High Times Magazine for having that story on their page for us to watch. And for the viewers and listeners to hear, just that part of the story that I let you guys hear. Like I said, it's about an 8-minute video, completely worth watching. As a sufferer of PTSD and PTSD symptoms, mine not derived on the battlefield serving our great nation like so many others, but neither here nor there. One thing that I can tell you is PTSD is a lot like drug addiction. There's no boundaries. There's no amount of money that can prevent you from having PTSD. There's no amount of medication and everything that you can throw at this that can prevent it or stop it from happening. At this point, we'll say it that way. At this point in our society, the best we can do is study PTSD. So the best treatment you can do is you can take whatever medication they try to put you on. You can use marijuana to treat PTSD. There's science behind this, by the way. That's why I would encourage you to watch the rest of the video, because you can see in the video there's a bunch of science behind PTSD, the brain, how it functions, the inability to forget is what really triggers PTSD. The inability to not be able to not remember. That's the problem. I think like the doctor said on the video, I think that we definitely don't put enough emphasis on forgetting. We really don't. We don't at all. We don't put enough emphasis on forgetting. And if you can't forgive and then forget, you can't be healthy with a situation. That's Psych 101, guys. So, you know, this is something that is absolutely something that we're going to stay on throughout the years of High Tide Stick, that will be around, I guarantee you. And I promise you, we're going to stick on this PTSD thing because it's near and dear to my heart for so many reasons. We'll be right back after the music break. On the music break, we've got On My Grind by Two-Piece featuring Fetty Wap. And so we'll be right back after the break. You're on High Tide Stick with the Doc, MistaTre. High Tide Stick reminds you not to do anything stupid when you smoke weed. You know, like get busted by your parents. Stupid.
What it do, Fetty? Two behind. Do it big. Yeah, gang. Yeah.
Hey, once I started, stayed on my grind. Yeah. Nitty Grit told me don't waste no time. Nah. Smoking big dope, shit smell like pine. I drive a foreign and the wheels look fine. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. Couple hundred just to watch my time. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. A couple hundred just to watch my time. Since I was young, I was young. Nickels and dollars and nuggets. Ever since they robbed me, trust and believe I'm a blade. Smoking like a zombie. So game my niggas, nothing. Dice in my G got me. All my niggas, bustin' stars. I started, stayed on my grind. Nitty Grit told me don't waste no time. Smoking big dope, shit smell like pine. I drive a foreign and the wheels look fine. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. Couple hundred just to watch my time. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. A couple hundred just to watch my time.
Hey, my hood said get you, so fuck you. You, your dead homies, and your pistols. I'm from Gangville. Gangville don't get you. The bullets out this bitch sounding like a Russian missile. I've been a real nigga, I just devil like that. And I be down in Houston, Texas, like a rapper like use a cartoon character, Facebook or me to grab it, you an actor. Push the ball, me with no ammo in the gun. I got a chop on the way and 100-round drum. The difference between me and you haters is I'm winning. The label left a nigga, I bounce back in the pit.
Once I started, stayed on my grind. Nitty Grit told me don't waste no time. Smoking big dope, shit smell like pine. I drive a foreign and the wheels look fine. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. Couple hundred just to watch my time. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. A couple hundred just to watch my time.
Hey, I'm in the studio, grinding with no pen or pad. They gave a white nigga money, now you at his man. Shit, my belly was on E, I can feel the hunger. Ever go broke, I turn your block into a fucking song. I left the West Coast to bring back my street cred. I don't know why niggas eating when the streets dead. I know where bees live when they think I don't. And now I leave a nigga stinking, you think I won't. Expose me to the world, make Two-Piece famous. But you gon' rubbing my money, I'ma sell them payments. I don't owe nobody nothing that ain't on me. You want a feature, we charging a fuck nigga fee.
Once I started, stayed on my grind. Nitty Grit told me don't waste no time. Smoking big dope, shit smell like pine. I drive a foreign and the wheels look fine. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. Couple hundred just to watch my time. Niggas boring, his flow is not like mine. A couple hundred just to watch my time.
The Doc MistaTre reminds you, don't do anything stupid like drive while you're high on marijuana. I am tired of having to go around people doing 30 and a 40. What is wrong with you? Yeah. Back after the break. That was On My Grind by Two Piece featuring Fetty Wap, by the way. Two Piece, who we had on the show yesterday, being interviewed by me, the doc. I'm still waiting to do those. I can't lie. I like to do the interviews that I don't have history with the guest because they're new and it's somebody new for you, my listeners and viewerships, to meet. And so I enjoy that. But on the flip side of the coin, I can't lie, I love doing the interviews with people that I've like done shows with and we've opened up together and stuff like that, because those are the shows that I kind of kick back and I just laugh because we just talk about like the good old times when we was like kicking it at like, you know, at the speakeasy or something. I mean, it's just, that's what we do. And as you'll often hear me say, that's what we do, homie. Hey, homie, that's what we do, homie. We need to get Pookie and Ray Ray back on the show. For those of you that aren't familiar with Pookie and Ray Ray, first off, Pookie talks, Ray Ray doesn't. And Ray Ray never says anything. He might say one thing. He's like Silent Bob. He might say one thing every once in a blue moon. But Pookie and Ray Ray are street drug dealers out there in the city streets selling weed. They've somehow managed to follow us from Colorado Springs out here. We might have to get them on the phone. Something like that. Let's see if they're around. Yo, Pookie or Ray Ray.
What up, homie? What up, man? I'm in the streets.
Well, when you're in the streets, let me ask you a question. What's it like selling weed in the streets of Florida since you guys stalked me and followed me out here?
Man, homie, we didn't stalk you. We followed the money, knuckle.
Okay. Get out of my studio. State, guys, that's why you say no to crack, just so you know. Because you end up like Ray Ray. I mean Pookie. I always mix them up. What up, Ray Ray?
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of that. Well, anyway, those guys are crazy. I do have to black out whenever they come into the studio. They just walked out the door, but I have to black them out whenever they're in the studio because the bottom line is Pookie and Ray Ray are they're notoriously wanted by people with alphabets. So, you know, we have to block them out and make sure that, you know, nobody knows what they look like or, you know, anything about them other than their voices. So the beauty of radio, right? And behind the scenes radio. So anyway, so with that said, oh, that coffee smells so good. Is that you? Did you really make it? Or did your mom? Cousin's in the studio. You want to come say hi? He's camera shy.
No, I just don't want to be at your show.
Oh, I just don't want to be on your show. You would if you seen some listeners and viewers like I do. Yeah, little buster. He don't know nothing yet. He got to learn a lot. I'm his biggest. He has a little online TV show. Just for all you guys out there, I'll tell you his little deal. He has a little online video game thing that he does, like all these kids do. My nephew back in Colorado, little Freddie, he's about to go into the Navy. Salute to you, nephew. He has the same thing with a bunch of his friends from high school. And they're out of high school now. And they still got the damn video game channel on YouTube. The damn kids got more people than I do. Like, I pull in the radio, so that's fair enough. But outside of the radio, though, the kids got more listeners or viewers than I do. If you take the radio out, I'm getting my ass kicked by them straight up. So, but he's been doing this for years and years and years, and now my little cousin does it too, and so it's kind of funny to me. But me personally, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how to play a video game. Go play it. We're gonna move on today, though, in our stories, in our story of the day. Like I said, I really wish Chris called in. He still might. Might not be to the end of the show. He's probably taking the kids to school too. But anyway, the story from Michigan, I'll at least prep you guys on it, and so that way maybe we can just talk about it when he calls. If he doesn't, then we'll talk about it. But so the story, as you can see, what I'm showing you guys on your screen is that the story is titled "Michigan Police Propose Changes to Medical Pot Dispensary Bill, End of Caregiver Model." Now, scary. Probably. I'm a little scared by that. I'll tell you that right now, because there are certain things that I really think that should remain the way they are. And that's like in Michigan, if you're going to make marijuana utterly or legitly or literally unaccessible for people, then at some point we kind of have to, I go, okay, so when are we obligated to, you know, make this, you know, accessible for everybody or whatever the case may be, or whoever needs it. But now you're introducing a bill that could potentially be a bill that's going to, you know, get in the way of people accessing their medication. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So this story comes to us, of course, from mlive.com. which is MichiganLive.com. This is the Lansing news section. It says, Lansing, Michigan. Michigan law enforcement officials are not fully backing plans to overhaul the state's medical marijuana system. But unlike last year, they aren't standing in the way of the proposed legislation. While law enforcement cannot support any legislation that by definition is illegal under federal law due to the classification of marijuana, which excuse me, what we can do is find a position not to oppose having a tough and tight regulatory framework, said Howell Police Chief George Basser, legislative chairman for the Michigan Association of Chief of Polices. Basser and the law enforcement officials testified Tuesday before the Senate Judiciary Committees, which is considering, excuse me, but anyway, which is considering House approved legislation. Something in my eye, I apologize. House approved legislation that would allow the state to license and regulate medical marijuana dispensaries, growers, and other related businesses. Michigan's medical marijuana law, approved by voters in 2008, created a system where registered patients and caregivers can grow a limited number of plants, but it did not address storefront dispensaries. The state Supreme Court, in a 2012 ruling, held that dispensaries can be shut down as a public nuisance. Law enforcement groups successfully blocked medical marijuana dispensary legislation last season, but responding Republican Matt Carlton, a Republican from Nashville, made a concerted effort to bring them to the table this year. His new medical marijuana bill, which would impose a 3% tax on dispensaries' gross retail income, is part of a larger package that would also create a seed to sell tracking system for plants and establish rules and for edibles and non-smokable forms of the drug. Senate Judiciary Chairman Rick Jones, the former Eaton County Sheriff, generally supports the move towards a regulated medical marijuana industry, but is sympathetic to the concerns from the law enforcement community. I think we've reached a point of the Wild West out there right now, said Jones, Republican Grand Ledge. Apparently, caregivers are selling their overage to those dispensaries. There's not licensing. People don't know what they get. Before we move into the next part of this, where it talks about getting rid of caregivers, I want to be very clear on one thing, that some of the bill is good. Chris is the expert. I want to be very clear, and I really wish Chris was on the show with us today, and it wasn't just a solo. It looks like it's going to be a solo ride here throughout the last half of the show. But I really do wish Chris was here, because he is an expert on this. He was there last night when this was going on, when this was being talked about, discussed, when they were in chambers over this. Chris was there the whole night. And so he knows a lot more about what's going on. I don't see the big deal with the legislation that's being proposed in Michigan for this reason. It would impose a 3% sales tax on dispensaries for gross retail income, which is nothing. That's a business, but part of doing business. But now, where's that tax going? Good question. We always want to find out where money's going. Don't just give your money to the government. Don't give your money to the public in taxes unless you know where those taxes are going to be spent. If you don't understand or have a clue where that money's going, you shouldn't be giving it. This is why I tell people, when they go, oh, we want an excise tax, or we want a waterfront tax, or we want a watershed tax. I'm like, okay, cool. What are you going to spend it on, though? Are you going to spend it on roads and drainage so that we don't flood more? Are you going to spend it on, beefing up the size of roads on evacuation routes for hurricanes? Are you going to spend it on this? Are you going to spend, what the F are you spending it on? What the F are you spending on? It's F off Friday, so what the F are you spending it on? By the way, F off Fridays, today's F off is F off to PTSD. PTSD, go fuck yourself. But anyway, what are you going to spend the 3% tax on? And then, that's Christopher. Hang on, homie. I got to plug you into the soundboard. I don't have you plugged into the soundboard, so nobody can hear you. There are people that are calling in and thanking me for that, though. Just kidding. Hold on, let's see. We got you now? Talk? All right. Chris is in the house. Wow, it's really loud. Let me turn the volume on the primary. Okay, talk. Mic check me, Chris.
Check 1 2.
All right, there you go.
1 2 check.
You were maxing me out, but I think it was the phone that was doing it.
Well, super blast.
That's something you're going to learn is you want to put your volumes about midway down and control them through the soundboard. Otherwise,
if you don't, it'll be
they'll peak and spike and all kinds of weird, crazy shit. I'm glad you called when you did, because I was just saying I hope this isn't going to be a solo show today, because I'm reading the Michigan the report from mlive.com about what you were telling me that you were dealing with yesterday.
$30.
Are you seriously selling weed on my show?
No, I'm at a gas station.
Oh, okay. All right. You're just selling me. You're selling the second largest commodity in this country.
Cigarettes.
Excuse me. Cigarettes or gas. I think that's what it is. I think it goes like gas is first.
Oh yeah, gas,
second,
cigarettes,
and then weed is third. If we keep food out of this.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, let me just finish. What I was saying right before you chimed in here is that this new medical marijuana bill that does impose a 3% sales tax on dispensaries' gross retail income, which is part of a larger package that would create a seed-to-sale tracking system. And I get that. I was just informing my viewers. I say, listen, don't ever support a tax unless you know where the money's going. Like if they tell you we want a stormwater tax or we want a hurricane water tax, okay, great, that's fine. I don't have a problem with you paying more money to keep my city neat. Let me ask you a question though. What the fuck are you doing with the money? Are you going to are you going to widen the roads on hurricane evacuation routes? Are you going to rebuild the infrastructure of the drainage system so that it all goes out to the coast? Are you going to have backflow wall blockers, or are you going to put those in or something so that the water can't backflow during high tide? What are you fucking doing to use this money towards the tax itself? I can't stand. The only time I've ever supported a tax that had nothing to do with the tax had nothing to do with what it was going to be spent on was the Amendment 64 marijuana tax, which said that the first 40 million of each respective, I think it's county or city, has to give to building school infrastructure, buildings, upkeep, maintenance, rebuildings. They can build football stadiums though, because it still counts. And I'm cool with that too. Get some of these schools a nice fucking football stadium, and maybe we could have some classy football in Colorado again, like it used to be.
Right. Well, see, like here, that 3% excise tax here in Michigan they're trying to impose. It's not going where it should be going. It's going to a general fund. It's going to the police departments.
But see, that's the thing is, I don't want to pay weed tax in any state. I don't want to pay. I'll keep my shit black market straight up, and I'll tell you why. I don't want to go and pay a weed tax that's going to go to the police department.
That's what I'm talking about.
However, my next question though becomes is where is that money going in respect to House Bill 4209? Like, where is it going though? That's what I don't understand. I mean, it was approved 95-11 in the hearing.
Right.
So my question is where is it going though? If it's not going to what part of police is it going to? The DARE program? Cool, I'm okay with that. Let's keep kids off drugs. Is it going to you having more fucking squad cars to fuck with me now that I have pot? Fuck you, man.
They don't need more squad cars. They get new cars every year here in Bay City, Michigan. Every year they get a new car.
I know. Fucking hats off to fucking Dodge for fucking cornering the market and taking that shit from Chevy.
Yeah. And
you stay paid at least by their cop cars from you, just so you know.
35% of that 3% is going into a general fund. So that means they can spend it wherever and whenever they want.
Hell yeah. Highest resale value on a car, right?
Yeah.
Cop cars, buddy.
It's ridiculous, though. I mean, some of the laws that they're trying to change, like yesterday in Lansing, they had a secret hearing, like out of the blue. No one really knew about it, and it was nothing but cops, the chief of police, the chief of the sheriff department association, and all those people saying that this whole illegal transport and things like that, they want a secure transport service. So they're basically saying that even though you're a patient, you can't travel with your medicine.
See, that's ridiculous. You can't do that to people.
Right, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. I mean, I can understand. It needs to be locked up. It needs to be secure where it can't be accessed while you're driving the car.
Well, hold on.
We already have that law.
Check this out. Fuck all that shit, though. Fuck all this bullshit wasting time on legislation. Why don't you just go legal as lettuce? And then you don't need all this legislation. You need basic farmer crop law.
Right.
How it's
Now,
treated from the seed. Look we track fucking corn from the seed to your fucking stove. Why can't we just treat pot and hemp like that and say, hey, we're just gonna fuck it. It's legal as lettuce. But listen, I can trace this head of lettuce all the way back to the fucking farm it was grown on, and probably even the farm field it came off of. The exact field it came off of. I can study the soil where this fucking lettuce came from. So you want to tell me that you can't treat pot legal as lettuce? Come on now.
Right. It's baloney. They're trying to regulate us so heavily that it's going to make the average caregiver just say, screw it, I don't want nothing to do with it. And that's what they want. They want big business in Michigan to take over the growing so that there are no more caregivers, because then they'll have safe access centers, or saying, the patients will have places to go get their marijuana.
I don't like it. I just, and then they want to get rid of caregivers. And actually, let me read this real quick, and then we'll talk about it when we come back from the break, because we're going to go to a quick little short music break. On the break, for once in, I think only like twice this week, because I'm trying to get more other artists during the breaks, music breaks. Anyway, today the music break, it's F off Friday, so we're going to go with fact. Friends are clearly traitors by me. I don't care. I'm throwing myself a fucking feather in the cap. I've interviewed. You know how many people I've interviewed this week, Chris? I've interviewed like 3 people.
Yeah.
I just don't have. I didn't have everybody on the show, but I've interviewed like 3 people this week, and I still got another person I got to interview, because I've been interviewing drug dealers, Chris.
Right.
Like legit, real like pot dealers, but they're here they're committing crimes. And I'm comfortable because I'll never see them again unless it's to get a stash. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I have my guy, so I'll never see them again. But I've been interviewing drug dealers, like, how does this make you feel? What kind of position does this put you in, et cetera, et cetera? Because, I mean, legitly, they really put you into an awkward position. They do. I mean, if you're dealing drugs illegally, you're committing a federal offense. You're being put in a very, very, very difficult position, unfortunately.
Yeah, see, that's what a lot of the regulations here is. We're making regulations that make us criminals.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, they're making laws and they're putting laws into play, or they're putting laws in a position that are legitimately making folks like yourself, folks like me, out to be criminals, and that's not cool. We're gonna go to the break here in about 30 seconds, but this is the lead line from this: get rid of caregivers. If dispensers are formally allowed, law enforcement groups would like the state to stop registering caregivers who are allowed to grow up to 12 plants each, 5 patients. Or for each 5 patients in a secure location, including their home. As of last year, there were about 23,000 registered caregivers in Michigan and 96,000 patients. We're going to get into more of that and read the rest of that story when we come back from the break. I'm, of course, the Doc. You're on High Tide Stick, and we'll catch you guys back after the flip. You're listening to the Doc, MistaTre, on High Tide Stick. I'm a real doctor, like Dr. Phil's a real doctor. Oh, yeah. Just sexier, bald, and sexy. Yeah. That's doctor shit right there. High Tide Stick. All day. Yeah. Slow. Real Shout out to Michael. That's a fact. I'm all one. I'm really all one. That's a fact. I'm all one. I'm really all one. I'm really all one. That's a fact. I'm all one. I'm really all one. That's a fact. I'm really all one. Body Colorado, old school caddy, same color, yeah, great smoke. I look so clean, I look so smooth, my glasses wide globes. I ride with straps, seat belts, the blood of that joke. Talking shit, my squad's been a faster than a center cap on spokes. That's a fact. Face smack. Walking over Colorado hip hop like the doormat.
master them and fall back. You just a piece of puzzle, me, I'm really all that. You want it, come and get it, snitch boy. Just remember I fall back. You know what they call that real key shit, you wanna try me. I don't want air, I'm from the text, wanna talk or grind me. Switch a house from the front of the yo, get the meter behind me. Mike was sitting on shot for a yo, black trains on the side me. That's a fact, that's a fact. I'm all one. I'm all one. I'm really all one. That's a fact, that's a fact. I'm all one. I'm all one. I'm really all one. I'm all one. I'm really all one. That's a fact, that's a fact. I'm all one. I'm all one. I'm really all one. That's a fact, that's a fact. I'm really all one. I take my other body spirit, ain't on my demise. On my team in the skies. That's that shit that I despise. Virgin Mary bloody eyes. You come with me on my rise. Turns out that my folks boy no different than them other guys. No surprise. You was the first to hold or die. I've been this long since I opened my eyes. You think mine was swap? Now say goodbye. First you get out 45. You born to hate, you born to die. Hate on me, I know why. Envy me, I wouldn't mind. I'm just a normal guy that changed things. I'm really fine, though. I got fans that can even go to Colorado. You know they love me in New York and on the islands, bro. I stuck my dick in the game and fuck the shit out that hoe. That's a fact, that's a fact. Believe that. You niggas black, you need to see that. That's a fact, that's a fact. Believe that. You niggas trash, you need to see that. Oh, that's a fact, that's a fact. I'm all one, I'm all one, I'm really all one. That's a fact, that's a fact. I'm all one, I'm all one, I'm really all one.
Yeah. We are back. You still with us, Chris?
Oh yeah,
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't lose you. That happens sometimes.
yes it does. Whether it's my phone or yours
Right? So
or my ear.
anyway, so let's pick up with what we were talking about while we were on the music break. You were discussing with me about the about you guys are trying to impeach the governor of Michigan.
Oh yeah, for the second time.
Okay,
Because
so
the last
talk to me about
the
it.
last time they tried to impeach him was because he started taxing elderly's pensions and everything like that, and taxing them and taking them. Huh?
Oh, you're good. I'm sorry. Nobody on air heard me just ask for my coffee, but I can't you hearing me.
Right,
Sorry.
right.
I should probably tell you if you ever hear me say some random ass shit, just talk through me.
Yeah, just talk through you.
I'm sorry, man. My bad.
But yeah, last year he started taxing people's pensions and stuff like that. And they got rid of like a lot of people like from General Motors and stuff lost their pensions because of some of the bills that he passed overnight.
I remember some of this.
Right. And that made a lot of people mad. And that's what I don't understand. I don't understand how he got away with doing that. And then there's a lot of elderly people that vote. They're actually, 80% of the vote, and he still made it back into office.
Well, apparently that old ass 80% of people really do agree with him, I guess. I mean, you could say that, or I mean, how the hell
I did.
Listen, are they doing this shit like during midterms or something where Democrats tend to show up very poorly?
Right. And that's the problem. But see, we've got an election coming up here next year, and that's what they're trying to get him off, so they can't get back on the ballot.
Well, see, that's where I start raising questions like, isn't this voter fraud? Isn't there some legality issues here? What the F, bro? Like, on some realness, dude. Like, what the hell? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And then with our prosecuting attorney, Bill Schuette, he's, bringing in cops and bringing in the Michigan State Police Department and the Sheriff's Association in a secret meeting that no one really knew about. And they're trying to get Congress and the Senate to pass laws that get rid of caregivers and limit your patient.
Well, right. And that's what we were reading before we went to the break, or that's what we were covering, I should say, before we went to the break. And again, I don't understand this get rid of caregivers thing. I mean, and what's his name? Gene Wigglesworth, which is an Ingham County sheriff who testified on behalf of the Michigan Sheriff's Association. He said, once the system is up and running, there will be no need for caregivers to grow a product since the patient will be able to access marijuana at the dispensaries. But I argue this fact. If dispensaries have beyonded hours, and we ran into this in California, we ran into this in Colorado, where I don't get off work till 8 o'clock. I don't get paid until maybe I get paid today, but I don't get off work till 8 o'clock. I can't go to any old dispensary because for whatever reason, they all close by 7 because that's the law, right? So I don't get off work till 8 o'clock. So where am I supposed to get my pot? The only person that's selling pot 24 hours a day are caregivers.
Yeah, they don't want any place that's 24 hours. They don't want caregivers, because what they're trying to do to us with this new law is we're not allowed to sell our overages.
Okay, but let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you a question then. First off, if you don't want 24-hour dispensaries, okay, fine. You don't want 24-hour access to medication? Then why the fuck does Walgreens have a 24-hour pharmacy? CVS pharmacy has 24-hour pharmacies. If I can't have access to the medication that I choose to medicate with at 24 hours, then why the fuck should some perk-popping fucking hippie little bastard kid who's jacked up on heroin, because that's all Percocets are, why should they be fucking allowed to access their medicine 24 hours a day?
Right.
Their medicine's a fucking epidemic.
They're okay with something that they're okay with stuff that has trillions of side effects, but when you start talking about medical marijuana, it becomes a whole nother issue. Like it's the worst poison in the world.
Reefer madness is a fucking myth. I can tell you what's not a myth: heroin addiction. I can tell you where it starts: pain pills,
opiate addiction,
Vicodins, Percocets, whatever fucking generic brand, Watson or whatever. There's generics, whatever. The bottom line is, anything that is a opiate-laden painkiller is a fucking epidemic, because what you end up with on the back, it takes so much of that shit to kill the pain, because your body constantly gets so used to it that you have to keep your body literally is like adapting by the minute to getting used to it. So,
absolutely.
So you have to take shit tons of this shit. At some point, you're taking shit tons of this shit, and then they go, and I'm going to quote the anonymous U.S. Army Airborne Ranger I met yesterday. I'm going to quote him as saying 120 perks a month, and then you just take them away from me and tell me I have a problem. But you gave me that problem.
Right. Ironic, huh?
Ironic. We infected our own streets, our own children, and our own soldiers by turning them into addicts for pain pills.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. See,
and the worst part, now they're all acting out because they can't get their medicine. They're like a giant fucking baby Huey. They're acting out because they can't get their medicine. What makes the problem, or what do you call it, perpetuates the problem even worse is, now we got to throw you in jail because you did something stupid because you wanted the medicine that we gave you.
Yeah, because then they go to the streets and buy it illegally.
Sometimes I'm like, whoa, bro, like, wow, man, we fucked you up and then we locked you up.
Because it's something we did.
You know what I kind of tell people is, welcome, I don't care what color you are, that's what it's like to be a minority on some real shit.
Well, yeah, it's like methadone to Suboxone. They're just as bad, if not worse, than the medications they're giving them.
I agree, methadone's horrible.
And then it's the taxpayers that are paying for it. At least the medical marijuana patients are purchasing their own medicine.
Well, look at it this way. How many heroin addicts can afford treatment and methadone treatments? None.
Right. None.
So it's a community service to get you off heroin.
Yeah. And to get you onto something new.
Exactly. I mean, and then I go, how many there's nothing to cut you off methamphetamine. So what do? You got to go. You got to go to treatment. Well, you spent everything you had and lost everything you had because of meth. So now, how are you paying for it? You're not. Somebody else's. Unless you go through a like me, I went through the temple. So in Buddhism. So unless you find another way to go through rehab, than to sit there and be told to just take Jesus and you'll be saved kind of stuff, or clinical stuff, which I like the clinical side. I just can't do all the whole blame it on Jesus stuff. That pisses me off. I'm not even a Christian, and I can't stand when people blame stuff on their religion.
And you might as well start praying, because detoxing is as close to death as you can possibly get.
Oh, on heroin, hell yeah. I won't say that. Like, I think that detox. I think you should go away for detoxing methamphetamines, to be honest with you, or cocaine. Because if you're detoxing methamphetamine or cocaine and you have a legitimate addiction, you should go away because you're a fucking asshole. I was. Right. Straight up, you're a fucking dick. Like, I was a dick. Like, everything pissed me off every day. I woke up mad every day. And it took about probably, I think, 2 months of detoxing, maybe even 3 months of detoxing before I finally was like, now, like, even now, I'm like, if I wake up pissed off, it's because something pissed me the fuck off, but it's not because I'm detoxing.
Well, see, here's my final thing. Where are they getting all this opiate to make all these medications? It sure ain't from here in the United States.
No, it's illegal to grow opiate here.
Right. So they're getting it from places like Mexico, Colombia, Pakistan.
Pak and Afghanistan are definitely two of the largest, and northern India are three of the largest contributors to the opiate plant, period.
Right. And they're saying, that marijuana is aiding in terrorism. How about all the opiates?
How about heroin? How about heroin? How about a heroin purchase? Check this out. I remember reading this, and I can't remember. You might have to look it up. I do not remember where I read this, but a heroin purchase, a large heroin purchase, a couple bricks, at least, I don't remember if it was like 10 kilos, 50 kilos, or 100 kilos, but it was a large amount of heroin, right? That heroin's genetic DNA was traced right back to the fucking poppy fields in Afghanistan.
Oh, absolutely. I believe it.
Blows your mind if you really think about that for a second. You go, we have a piece of this exact fucking group or strain of plants that packaging came from.
Right.
That a U.S. drug dealer bought from a broker who was not any sort of Pakistan. So he thinks he's dealing with a drug dealer who is, I'm going to deal drugs. I'm going to be a dickweed and sell heroin on the streets, and I'm going to deal drugs. However, but check this out. Here's where I'm really going to blow your mind. I'm going to buy it from some guy who I think's here in the United States or from the United States. Turns out he bought his heroin from somebody in Afghanistan, somebody who's probably shooting at U.S. and American soldiers, somebody who is probably directly or indirectly responsible for the funding of Al-Qaeda.
Yep.
But weed's killing America.
Right. Every day. Wrong.
Yeah, wrong. Wrong is the answer. That's why I get, if I ever get frustrated about like the politics or sort of the business of marijuana / the business of drugs and all that in this country, it's because first off, you try to generalize everything. You really do have to look at each and every drug, the way it addicts you, the way addiction affects you, and the way even kicking the habit affects you. You have to look at each drug differently. You have to look at everything: marijuana, heroin, cocaine, Adderall, anything, any type of drug, whether it's prescription or non-prescription, every single one that has an addictive potential, even to like naproxen and Seroquel, Xanaxes, all that stuff, they all addict you differently. The only one commonality between them is that they're addictive. That's the only common ground.
Yep. And it's sad. It really is. It's sad.
Scary sad. It's scary sad.
We will touch more on this tomorrow. I'll have some more information and stuff. And,
no, I'm talking to your ass tomorrow. It's Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'll talk to you Music Monday though, because hey, you should be on Music Monday. I'm gonna probably book Disown from North Carolina.
Okay.
Either him, I'm looking to book him, or I'm looking to book can't remember the other one. Is it a Colorado artist? I don't remember. No. I'm gonna see if I can book it might take me a week to get her booked, but there's a really dope artist from Queens, New York, who's like the #1 artist here in Tampa. She's originally from Queens, And anyway, she's a cold spitter, bro. And she's like really beautiful black girl, cold spitter. I'd love to get her on the show. But anyway, let me let you get out of here, and I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So that was Chris Watkins, my boy, the Michigan Insider, Informer. I know, but that should be his theme song. I need to, if I wouldn't probably get sued for using it, I'd probably use that theme song for Chris. I'm not kidding you. Like, I think that'd be hilarious. I just, because that's my Michigan Informer. He keeps me up and honest on what's going on in Michigan. But anyway, it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 in the mountains, 5 on the West Coast. I promise you, I wouldn't keep you any longer than this. So we're going to get out of here. Closing music today, of course. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Anyway, closing music today, of course, going to be brought to you by nobody else other than, I don't know, who do we want to go up today? Let's go with Dirty Games. Look at my ride to close out the show today. You've been on the High Tide Stick with the Doc. I'm out. Peace. Love you, boy.
K to the inside. DG for life.
Look at my ride, that motherfucker hawking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my office. The woman pounding, the camera's rocking. Look at my ride, that motherfucker hawking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my office. The woman pounding, the camera's rocking.
When the rain come down, my whip look tight and shiny like the glitter. Then I Instagram that pic and I posted it up on Twitter. You can see my rims, they shining. 24 inches, they spinning. You can tell my pockets blowing up like the lotto, someone winning. I'll tell you right now, baby, I live my life like shady. 6 baby mamas and a pair of twins and $1 million baby. 10 screens where they ballin'. My Obama for wallet. My baby mama, she blow my line. Man, she won't stop calling. My backseat to be so large. Black 10, no credit card. We in the back, I beat it down. And pay I do a free charge. Can't be making that ghost pattern. All these chicks go straight bananas. My rear view be thumping hard. Hanging off of that red bandana.
Look at my ride, that motherfucker hawking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my office. The woman's pounding, the camera's rocking. Look at my ride, that motherfucker hawking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my office. The woman's pounding, the camera's rocking. Look how they watching, look how they watching. Drop the screens and turn the beat up, ain't gon' watch them jock, man. I'm gripping wood wheels and blowing out some broccoli. Behind the limo, check windows rolled up so they can't stop me. Them 24s is clean, I think I need to join a car show. Gotta match the whip, so my whole fucking grill chrome. And my girl gone, but she bad as fuck. On the leather in the backseat, fucking with her feet up. Man, that whip too flossy, two-tone candy paint is glossing. Working long nights in the Navy, so I call that bitch my office. Put the camera in the dash so I can play it back and watch it. Fuck it, let's make a movie, put it on the disc and profit. Look at my ride, that motherfucker hawking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my office. The woman's pounding, the camera's rocking. Look at my ride, that motherfucker hawking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my office. The woman's pounding, the camera's rocking.
Voice activation, make it start. Push a button, make it walk. Limo 10, you ain't got the trick. Shut up, we can shop for after dark. Why chill in my backseat? You with the biz, we not deep. All wolf, baby, no sheep. It's dirty games, it's no keep it from rock, better crap, keep it crumb. I'm Trojan man, you the MJ of your hell. Yeah, no space and dump. Looney Tunes is my reels. 36 and they big. All my choppers hella long, they crawl down, won't fit. blasting off in them rockets. 20K in their pockets. Cali Kush is super bomb in Colorado, no diet. My whip looking on fire. My pictures murder for hire. My chalk in Hiroshima, kryptonite, Shelly and quiet. DJ unknown blast beats. Water world in my backseat. Airbags popping off, automatic desert. Yeah, they help me. My whip amazing and fabulous. I'm a superstar, chip scandalous. My supercar rims got TVs. Dirty games don't rattle us.
Look at my ride, that motherfucker talking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my office. The wall was counting, the camera's clocking. Look at my ride, that motherfucker talking. The streets is watching, I know they watching. She said she wanna fuck me in the backseat of my